A Maryland chapter brings veterans on a bus trip to see their memorials in Washington, D.C.
A New York chapter gets featured in a popular local magazine.
We've got the latest information on this year's East Coast Thunder that you're not going to want to miss.
Plus, we have tips from our National Safety Officer.
All this and much more on this April edition of Hogs and Heroes
Mission Report.
Welcome to this April 2018 edition of Hogs and Heroes Mission Report. I'm your host, Malinsky, and over here to my right is my lovely co-host with her blue hair, Lullaby.
Hello, Malinsky. Hello, everybody. Yes, I have blue hair.
I wanted to point that out because some people might be looking at the background thinking, man, her hair just seems to be coming a little bit back off a little bit there. So I just want to say it. Yes, it's not a camera or lighting mistake. Her hair is actually blue. Yes. Anyway, our lead story in this episode focuses on a bus trip with our veterans to see their memorials on a Super Saturday in Washington, D.C. But I also advise you that if you stay through to the very end of the show, we're going to close out with a wonderful video tribute that captures the emotion of that event. One thing's for sure, a lot of people say you have to be there to truly be able to experience it. In a lot of cases, that's true. But this video does probably one of the best, I should say, methods to be able to really capture the feeling and the emotion of that.
Yes, bring tissues. It will definitely bring a tear to your eye.
Yeah. Or for some of you that are extra macho, at least make you a little misty-eyed. So if you want to watch it and you don't want somebody else to see you cry, make sure you're alone in the room at that point. So, but anyway, let's hear what was happening around the foundation.
Yes, last month, March 10th, New York One had a motorcycle safety awareness meeting. This was with New York State Trooper Michael Nezgoda. I hope I got that right. And then State Farm Agent Jim Corley. They discussed the rules of the road and do's and don'ts, along with certain safety features and items that can often be overlooked. They also let us know that the insurance companies work for us, and it was a great opportunity for them, and they had a special visit from Hardtails Magazine, and they covered the article in their issue that month.
Hardtails Magazine is a free publication that can be found at a lot of bike dealerships and bike shops and tend to cover a lot of what Hogs and Heroes has been up to. So if you get an opportunity, you can see one of those magazines, pick it up and give it a read. You'll find its content quite informative. So, also on March the 25th, Maryland 8 had its monthly meeting, as always, at the Powellville Fire Department in their meeting hall. Powellville Fire Department has been a wonderful partner with Maryland 8 and a great supporter of Hogs and Heroes, and a way to say thank you for all that they've done for us. Maryland 8 had banded together and got some items donated and was able to paint and give a nice fresh look to that dining hall, which allows them to continue to rent it out for weddings and such, and other type of. They also have like a monthly all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet, so it's a valuable tool for the fire department to be able to raise funds, and it was our honor to be able to give it a nice fresh look for them. And they actually made us food while we were doing it too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really good. And we just want to give a special thanks to some key members that made that happen for us.
Yeah, we had Kevin Hudson of Painting by Kevin, and Todd Dundor of American Granite and Tile, and Jeff Bowden of Safe Harbor Property Management, that was able to provide a lot of things like rollers, canvases, pretty much all the tools we needed to get this done. And then a special thank you to Sherwin Williams of West Ocean City, who donated the paint. And they were able to donate so much that in about 5 years, when we figure the paint might need to be redone there again, we're going to have exactly enough to get the job done. So it was definitely a wonderful effort.
Big thank you to the guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
all right, and during that same meeting, we had a great opportunity. We were able to donate a canine first aid kit to J.C. Richardson of Delmarva Canine. J.C. JC is also a member of the Wacomico County Sheriff's Department, and this is an excellent tool for him because this allows him to show other officers how to properly use these K9 first aid kits. And not only is it a first aid kit, it is a resuscitation kit. So this makes it a very important tool to not only the sheriff's department but the local fire departments.
Yeah, so I mean, if any of you chapters out there are looking for some way to give back to your sheriff's department or fire department, this is a great gift to be able to raise. I think it's not that expensive. I mean, they do cost a bit, but it's definitely an achievable goal through fundraising. To be able to get together the money though and donate that to a local K9 unit from a sheriff or local police department, but also don't forget your fire departments, because it certainly can help out a pet that was in a fire or some other type of accident as well.
Yeah, and you can find that at the K9 Elite online. That is just K9 Elite. Do a search for it. You'll find it. Great website. We've had no problems with them. It's been great. We also want to remember to remind you guys that if you have anything that your chapter wants us to cover, you can email us at Hogs and Heroes Mission Report at Outlook.com, and that's Hogs and Heroes AND. And just let us know what you guys have been up to. We really want to get it out there, and we love it when you give us content. Yeah, we want you to be able to send us, if you've got an event, and we're more than happy to cover this, and we want to let the whole foundation know what we've been up to as a whole organization. So if you have an event and you want us to just kind of let people know what happened there, send us some pictures, send us some video, a brief little synopsis of who was there, what happened in that, and we'll be more than happy to cover it. So I want to say a special thank you to Stumpy from New York One, who sent their event over to us. And once again, get it over to us. We're going to try and make this podcast about once a month, and then we will be able to cover that. I think the next podcast we're going to lead off with the tri-chapter inaugural meeting, so that'll be a fun one as well. So basically, let's move on to the next thing that we were working on here. I think we also have a great event we wanted to be able to push out for you guys, some information. And I don't want to get anything wrong, so I want to make sure I get this right. So I'm going to bring my notes up here. But coming up really, really soon is going to be the 6th Annual East Coast Thunder. And that's held by National. This year we'll have the famous salute to the Vietnam POWs, MIAs, KIAs. There's going to be a free concert, barbecue from Jiggy's Barbecue.
Yum, yum.
There will be vendors, a 50-50, and in-house poker run. So there's a lot that's going to be offered. And, if you want to beat the crowd and beat traffic and stuff too, there's a hotel room block that has been that's been reserved. Time is getting really short because this show is going to be published probably by the 23rd is what we're aiming for, and you have only until the 25th to get your room reserved for that block rate. And from what I'm seeing here, the booking is for checking in at May 25th after 3 p.m. and checking out at May 27th by 11 a.m. And anybody who wants to add a day in front of that, or basically before or after, would pay their normal rates. But it looks like the block rate right now is $69.99.
That's a good deal, folks.
Absolutely.
I would take advantage of that.
Well, if you look at it, I mean, this is going to be a big event, and hotels are probably going to be booked all over the area. So taking advantage of this block rate is a great idea. But this is also a great opportunity that if you want to witness and experience Rolling Thunder, and also get a chance to spend time and get to know your fellow chapters, members of the foundation, get to see members of National. This really here is just going to be the highlight of the season, or at least, at the very least, a great way to kick off the season.
And fun.
Yeah,
There's concerts and food, everybody. You want to go. The poker run, prizes. Who wants to miss
have
this?
your bikes ready and do this, because East Coast Thunder is where it's going to be at. And so basically, we want to make sure that you're ready for this. So that's going to be, once again, with the room rates is $525, and checkout's going to be on $527. So take advantage of that. It's a great opportunity to just have a good time. So.
And speaking of getting together and doing things on a national level, it's important for everybody to get together to know your other chapters. And I just wanted to point something out as far as fundraising goes that I've discovered. That's something that all chapters could probably get in on. we have until December, and that's the Wreaths Across America.
Yes. Yeah.
I had no idea until I started talking with some local people who are helping out with some of our local cemeteries that there is so much that can be done with Wreaths Across America. They have it set up so that you can do your own fundraisers and help your local cemeteries and honor your veterans all in the same organization. You can do two things. There is $15 a piece for your wreaths, and for every wreath you sell, they will give your organization $5 in return. And that's a great deal, and it helps raise money for local chapters. But if you want to, they also have a second option, and for every 2 wreaths you sell, you get a 3rd wreath. And you get to pick which cemetery you want these wreaths to go to. Or you could have them all go to Arlington as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your choice. It's easy to set up, so you just go to wreathsacrossamerica.org and just read it through and give it a look. Your presidents for your chapter, bring it to their attention if they're not seeing this. It is such an easy thing to do, and it can benefit us and our veterans.
You can take a cemetery in your area and adopt it, and not only work for Wreaths Across America, but give it a cleanup. And particularly some of the older cemeteries. There's actually a few in my area, some abandoned Civil War cemeteries and such, and it'd be nice to be able to spruce them up somewhat. But when I heard a real interesting thing one time, and it always kind of sticks with me. And it said, as a matter of fact, it was during the last Wreaths Across America speech, and it said that every person dies 2 times. Their first death is when they take their last breath, but their second death is when the last person remembers them. So when no one else remembers them, that's basically your second death.
And we don't want our veterans to be forgotten.
Absolutely.
We want them to be remembered.
The whole procedure for Wreaths Across America is you take that wreath to the gravesite, you read that person's name, you kind of give them a silent or an audible thank you, and then you place that wreath there, and that acknowledges that person's existence and the sacrifices they made. So it's absolutely a worthwhile fundraising opportunity if you wanted to raise some money from your chapters by taking the first option that Lullaby said, or the second option, of course, is just to use it to get more wreaths. So it's a wonderful opportunity. And if you wanted more details, once again, send an email to Hogs and Heroes Mission Report at Outlook.com, and Lullaby will be happy to send you some information back on that.
I've got all the goodies on that one. So yes, once again, just give us an email, and we'll let you guys know any information you need.
So in our National Spotlight segment, we have also our National Safety Officer, Manny Revman Perez. We always just call him Manny. So he's of Sunset Cycles, and he's also the National Safety Officer. And he has here a nice video tip for you to just make sure that you keep nice and safe for your ride out. So
stay tuned and check it out.
We'll just go ahead and put it up there right now, actually. So take it away, Manny.
How's it going? It's Manny Perez from Hogs and Heroes Foundation. I'm the National Safety Officer, and today what I'd like to help you do is understand T-clocks. Every good motorcyclist and all us riders really need to consider going over our motorcycle in a specific way so that we always check it prior to a ride. The objective is so that you can make it to your ride. So some of the things that we're going to talk about is a perfect tool. It's called T-clocks. That's T-C-L-O-C-S. And what T-clocks actually does is it allows you to systematically check your motorcycle. Now, if you are like myself and you forget things, that's fine, because you can always download the checklist from the Motorcycle Safety Foundation. It's at msf-org.usa, and you'll be able to find it there. So what you want to first start off with is your tires, and what you're checking for, the letter T, tires. You want to check and make sure that if you have a tire that is on a spoked rim, that your spokes aren't loose, aren't cracked. Things to think about. Also, make sure you check your tire pressure. Your tire pressure is very important, because if you don't have your tire properly filled, you'll get cupping on your tire. That damages the tire and minimizes its life expectancy. So once you've checked the tires, the next thing you want to do is you want to check your controls. By that I mean your levers. You want to make sure your levers move smoothly and that they're functioning correctly. If you have any kind of a hydraulic system, you want to check the hydraulic hoses to make sure that there are no leaks. Your brake system, for example, on your front brake, you've got to check your master cylinder, work your way down, and again, check and make sure that there isn't any leaking or any cracks, or even if you see a little bit of rust, that's something to be considerate about, because if it cracks, you're going to lose your front brakes. That's not good. As you walk down your motorcycle, you also want to check your brake control, because that's for your rear brake. Depending on how it's activated, it may also have a master cylinder. If it does, check the fluid and make sure that that line isn't leaking. Once you've checked your motorcycle, once you've checked your tires and you've checked your controls, the next thing you want to do is you want to check your electric. So you want to turn your motorcycle on. You want to make sure that the lights turn on properly, that your turn signals are functioning. Front and rear, you want to make sure that your brake light, when you squeeze your brake, that brake light comes on. But not only from your front brake control, but from your foot brake control. Okay? Once you know that that's functioning, you can go ahead and start your motorcycle if you wish, but you also want to check your chassis, which is a lot of times we don't do. Your chassis is your suspension system. You want to squeeze your front brake, push up and down on the front forks, and check to see that there's no residue. If there's residue, that obviously means you have a leak. On your rear shock, you want to be able to rock it up and down. Again, making sure that the motorcycle has some sort of suspension. Because if your bike isn't absorbing it, you're going to absorb it, and that's going to be quite painful. If you've got a carbureted motorcycle, check and make sure that you don't have signs like this motorcycle does. The yellowing is a sign that it had a leak. We've since fixed it. If you have a choke activated motorcycle, make sure that the choke moves smoothly. And once you've checked your motorcycle and you've also checked the depth of your tire for wear, you're pretty much good to go. Stay safe and God bless. Hogs and Heroes, we rock!
Thank you, Manny, for that informative segment.
You can catch Manny at his shop, Sunset Cycles, and that's at 9748 Stephen Decatur Highway in West Ocean City, Maryland.
Now, on to our lead story, the D.C. trip to take the veterans on a Super Saturday to see their war memorials. Let's give a little bit of a background on this. This actually was an idea of one of our junior members, a young lady that we like to call Butterfly. And when I want to pick on her, I like to call her Flare-By.
Yes, she worked very hard on this, and this was all an inspiration on her behalf.
Basically, we were giving out American flag blankets and certificates to veterans to thank them for their service. And there was this aging, well, I guess they all are, unfortunately, at this point, but World War II vet who had told her that he had never seen his monument and had really hoped there would be an opportunity to see it. And then she approached the I guess you could say the executive board of Maryland 8 and asked, what can we do to get this going? And our juniors worked really hard. They spent the whole summer painting like American flags out of pallets and selling them.
They did multiple crafts. They did mini coasters, American flags, the blue line, the red line. All these were handmade, and they also had a pancake breakfast.
MD8 held a pancake breakfast to raise money for this, because this was not a cheap endeavor, and ultimately had raised enough money to be able to rent a I think it was a 56 passenger bus.
Yes.
And take some veterans to DC. We were able to have a lunch provided for them, a nice, lovely, it was a nice big chicken salad sandwich,
or ham salad sandwich. We had local donations from one of our restaurants allowed us to use their facilities to help make those salad, and they donated cornbread too, very generous.
Yeah, that was Taylor's Barbecue. Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to give a shout out to them for doing that. And then the Wicomico, the Masons Lodge Wicomico 91 lent us their facilities to be able to assemble everything for this. But this was an event that was kind of a pretty large event to put together. There was a lot of logistics.
Yes, we had a committee that worked very hard, and thank you to all those who participated in making this happen.
I mean, I tell you what, you couldn't ask for better weather. Our itinerary stuck perfectly. I mean, it was just a blessing from God, really. We literally were pulling out out of DC on our bus within a minute of our time schedule. I mean, everything fell into place, and it was an absolute amazing experience. And we managed to catch a couple of interviews too. So starting off here, we're going to give you an interview from Maryland 8 president. Joe Bauman, he was able to do an interview with David Ducher, who's a veteran himself and also is a volunteer chaplain for Coastal Hospice and Deer's Head Hospital. And he actually visits veterans who are in hospice and presents them with American flag blankets as well. Some of them have been provided by MD8 and a certificate, and he came along also. So let's check out this interview here at the World War II Memorial.
Dave, thank you very much for coming with us today on the bus trip for the veterans. We really appreciate your service and wanted to say thank you to all our veterans, but especially coming here to the World War II Memorial, to the Korean War Memorial, and to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial.
It's been a real honor to come up here with you. I mean, to me it's so awesome that you all did this.
Yes, sir.
I think it says a lot for what you all stand for and do.
Yes, sir.
It's really, I know one of our World War II vets that came up with us. I know him personally, and he's never been here.
That's fantastic.
And he is just so excited about it.
That's great. I had an opportunity to speak to him over there, and he and his son are just thrilled, just taking it in.
Yeah.
Just the backdrop is just beautiful here. So
yeah, he was, like I say, he's never been here.
Sure. We got the pleasure a couple years ago to meet Bob Dole, who was instrumental in making this and raising the funds for it. Mm-hmm. So it was an honor to meet him especially. So, but this has been a fantastic day. We couldn't ask for a better day.
Couldn't ask for a better day.
Absolutely.
Like I told one of the other groups, flights that came in, they're from out west, and they're like, "Oh, it's so beautiful." I says, "Yeah, it's just for us."
Yes, sir. So
did it just for us.
Absolutely. But I really appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming today. Definitely.
It's my
and for
privilege.
what you do for our community as well.
My privilege.
So, yes, sir.
I respect you guys so much for what you do.
Thank you.
For the community as a group and individually.
Yes, sir.
You're out there where other people forget.
We just try to pay back to you all for what you've done for us. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that interview, Joe. And even though we didn't have our blogger and fine interviewer with us on this trip, Janice Dragonfly, Joe did a wonderful job. So thanks for stepping in for her there, Joe. We really appreciate it.
Yes, and Malinsky was also able to catch an interview with John Lecheski, who is like a piece of living history right from our own Eastern Shore.
I got a kick out of him. When we said that before, he said he's a piece of something. I tell you what, check out this interview because this man's got a lot of character and was quite fun to talk to.
So I'm here now with John Lecheski. He's here as a piece of living history. So John, tell us a little bit about what brings you here today.
I guess I'm a piece of something. I started volunteering for Honor Flight 10 years ago. Came over here and saw all these Guardians pushing veterans around. I got hooked and have been here ever since. The uniform kind of started afterwards. It was a kind of a fluke. I was at a show and I came over and someone called, said there was a veteran coming in with a lot of decorations. So I came over and still had my uniform on. I said, "Don't you ever come back here again without it." And then I started recruiting other people and they started coming out in uniform. So we got this living history group here from Virginia, and then myself and several locals do different.
How long have you been doing this now?
My 10th year already.
Wow, really? How long did it take you to put this together? I mean,
actually, I've been in the military vehicle club since '77.
Okay.
So when it was cool to wear the uniforms after all the crazy stuff in the '70s, I just started buying stuff, at flea markets and stuff until I got this sort of little collection together. And so I've had several vehicles, a MASH ambulance, a Jeep, and a thing called a Weasel, which is a little track vehicle about the size of a Jeep.
Nice.
And I have a friend with a tank in Vermont, and I crew that for him too.
Fantastic.
So. But anyway, with all this stuff, I said, why not put it to use? Instead of once a year at a show, I'll come out here and do the weekends for the summer and fall season.
Great.
It gets too hot in the summer, but I usually end in May and come back again in September. So
fantastic.
Yep.
So I see you got regular and ethanol. So what is that?
Well,
What's normally?
I make sure that the vets' shots are up to date.
Yeah.
So this one helps you go because you're regular, and this one helps you sleep.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I've already finished them off for the day. So I'm waiting for the Navy to come along and refill because they always have the good stuff. And Dave, there's Dave. Dave's our local chairman of the Honor Flight Board. He also coordinates the buses. And I see you have the Honor Flight rash as well.
Yep.
That's what the nurses administer.
I only got 2 mics, but you come around and wave for a second here, Dave. Sparky.
Anyway,
so.
but we got Dave in uniform now too.
Oh, okay.
Since he's Air Force, he has to, of course, have his.
So yeah, bring him on in here. So here you go.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
so just so it doesn't wreck the camera.
Yeah.
So anyway,
These guys.
And this is solid muscle in a state of complete relaxation.
I've been working on mine. So,
and that's called thick protective layer of fat.
Yeah.
Now I have what's called quantity 1 liquid filled impact dispersion device.
Right on. Well, hey, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There was a lot of fun things going on there that day, and seeing those living history gentlemen and ladies roaming around in clothes from different eras was actually really cool to see, and it just added to the atmosphere of the whole event for sure.
Very fun bunch, I must say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know, that was all taken around the World War II memorial, and a lot of something we commented on was almost like something around the World War II memorial had almost it was weird, but not weird in a bad way, but like a festive vibe about it. There was, maybe it's about the victory of it all and that, but
it was a positive energy. You
Yes.
could really
feel everybody had a good energy, and even though some emotion was heartfelt, everything seemed to be overall very positive.
Yeah, but then as you got to the Korean War Memorial and then ultimately the Vietnam Memorial, the wall, the vibe became much more solemn. So it's really like an emotional roller coaster, but in a total positive way of being at the War Memorial for World War II, and then making your way down to the Korean War Memorial, and then ultimately at the Vietnam Memorial. It just you start at this big festive, and it just goes down, and then really starts to hit home when you see the names on that wall. And so we're going to move on to our next person here that we got the chance to do an interview with. This guy was a character. He is the perfect example of the gruff type of gentleman that you'd expect from the Vietnam era. And when you hear his name here, you'll see that there's an actual connection to him that's rather special. But not only was he a veteran, he was also a retired police officer. But his name is Douglas MacArthur Gibbons. And I'll listen to this video here, and you'll get the rest of his story.
Hey everybody, we're here just wrapping up our trip taking our veterans out to visit their memorials on a Super Saturday here in Washington D.C. And I got an opportunity here to talk to Douglas MacArthur Gibbons. He served in Vietnam, and his father also had a pretty special role as well. Tell us a little about yourself, sir.
Myself?
Yeah, first let's hear about you.
I'm an ex-police officer in Ocean City. I trained canine dogs for 13 years. I went to Vietnam in 1965. I was there 65, 66 at Cameron Bay Air Force Base.
Right on. That's a really distinguished amount of time in.
Yeah, it was, believe me.
And so your father played a
my dad drove General Douglas MacArthur's Jeep.
Nice.
When he was in service.
And you were named after him?
And I was named after him, and when my dad come home, he didn't even know he was discharged. He was on his way home and he dropped his papers in the floor of the airplane, and the guy said, "Ernie, you know you've been discharged?" He said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Yes, you have." Doug didn't know me nothing about it.
Yeah.
And he had said that he'd been discharged from the Army when he come home.
Right on.
And when I was born, Douglas MacArthur sat there and gave my father some Japanese money and wrote on the money and said, "Congratulations on your son's birth, Ernie."
Oh, fantastic.
And now my son in Tennessee has that money.
So that's a nice legacy for sure. How did you enjoy today?
I liked it, I really did. It was very enjoyable, the amount of people up here, and the people up here are so, they congratulate every time you come in, somebody congratulate you, thank you for the service and stuff.
Yeah. Well, let me be another one. Thank you for
Thank you very much. I thank you.
It was good to have you with us today.
It's something not many people do anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Not enough.
I was in Rehoboth Beach one day over there, and a lady walked by and had 2 little girls. I'm talking. And a lady walked by, had 2 little girls. And they stopped and he come back to me. He said, "Mistress, I want to thank you for your service to our country." Two little girls, they were much taller than that.
Yeah.
And it made me feel so good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was proud to do it. I've never regretted being over there at all.
Yep. Well, sir, it looks like our bus is here now to pick us up. So we'll get ready to head on back.
Home.
Absolutely. Once again, thanks
Nice
lots. It's a
talking to
pleasure
you.
to meet you.
Wow, what a great guy. Thank you, Malinsky. That was an excellent interview. What a good catch.
Couple disclaimers there. One, I did not put those lipstick marks on his cheek, okay? So I'm just saying that did not come from me.
Actually, they were the lovely ladies of the USO. These girls were everywhere, and every time they had an opportunity, they were just planting the girly kisses on those guys, and boy, they were loving it. And I actually went up to the ladies and asked them, I was like, I'm curious, how many tubes of lipstick do you bring to one of these Super Saturdays? And she was shocked. She's like, nobody's ever asked me before. And she promptly replied, 3, minimum of 2, but you always want to spare. So thank you, ladies from the USO.
And there was veterans everywhere. I mean, there was busloads upon busloads because it was a Super Saturday, and yet there was lipstick marks, kiss marks on almost all of these guys roaming through. They were.
I don't know if I've seen one that didn't have those big red kissy lips on their cheeks, and they were just as happy as they could be to get those kisses.
Absolutely. And you know something too is, as we know that as time goes on, there's less and less World War II veterans remaining, and yet we saw so many of those. There must have been such a huge population of our nation's veterans from World War II there that day, and to see the look on their faces, and of course all the other vets as well, as we were able to give them thanks for their sacrifices, was an incredible, rewarding experience. So from World War II Memorial down to the Vietnam, it was just a magical day, and you know, we were lucky to be a part of it. And also we would say that we want to give a special thanks to Butterfly for her dream to make this happen, and the chapter for putting it together, and also just being a proud member of Hogs and Heroes to be able to represent that day and show those veterans that you know, there's people out there that appreciate them and care for the sacrifices they made. So
yes, Butterfly is an amazing young lady. She's also part of the Junior Sea Cadets, and she had them all there for that Super Saturday, and what a dignified bunch of young men and women that are here in our country. I will say I was impressed.
Yep. And Mr. Gibbons, I sorry we had to cut the interview short, but we were being told that our bus was getting ready to leave, so we had to run. But that was definitely a great guy, and I wish I had a bit more time I could have spent with him to share with you guys. So all right, well, that's pretty much that regarding our main story for today. Like I said, the next episode is going to focus on the inaugural meeting that happened on April 21st. If you happen to have any footage, I was really hoping to be able to make it there to cover that, but it was just not in the cards, unfortunately. But if you're able to send us some pictures, details of the event, anything we can find out to be able to report back to you, once again, send that to Hogs and Heroes Mission Report at Outlook.com. And now, onto our meetup segment.
Yes, here we go. Okay, I guess we'll start off with our Thursday, April 26th. There's a couple of things going on. 5 a.m., there is, for Maryland 2, an active duty vet funeral escort to Arlington. This is going to be at the McCormick's Funeral Home, 1317 Cokesbury Road in Abington. They have been called to escort active duty Sergeant James Carpenter. He passed at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds, and it's going to be kickstands up 5:30 a.m. and they're going to be escorting all the way to Arlington National Cemetery, services at 9 a.m. So if you can make it and give your time for that, greatly appreciate it. And then, of course, Maryland 3, always a great thing to do. They have 5:30 p.m. at their VFW in Port Deposit. That's post 8185. That's on Route 222. They're wing nights, and that's going to be on April 26th, and they have one May 3rd, May 10th,
May 17th. So all coming up this month, every Thursday. If you can make it for Maryland 3, be there.
And on Friday, April the 27th, Hogs and Heroes Foundation has the recruitment event in Harrington, Delaware. There'll be, let's see here, from 4 to 9 p.m. and on April 28th, the 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on April 29th, 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. The Delaware State Fair and Delaware 3 has rented a booth at the second annual Delmarva X Outdoor Expo. This is open to all Delaware chapters. Bring a friend, have them meet your brothers and sisters. So it's a great opportunity to just kind of let everybody know the wonderful people that you get to associate with and share in the adventures of the foundation. So also, let's see here, at 5 p.m. on April 27th, there is a food drive to a veteran's house with PA2, Martins County Market, 1717 West Main Street in Lincoln Mall. Let's see here, it's going to be 5 p.m. On Saturday, April 28th to 12 p.m. They'll be collecting food for the veterans house. And we'll be bringing a non-perishable item for a donation. This is a really worthy cause, so if you can attend that, that's great. And of course, the greater details, you want to go to Meetup to be able to look into that. So.
All right, and next up, that's Saturday, April 28th at 9 a.m. They have for Maryland 5, this is all chapters, poker run. Starts at the American Legion Post 7. It's at 1905 Crownsville Road in Annapolis. It's $20 for each rider and $10 for a passenger. The registration is between 9 and 10 a.m. and the kickstands are up at 10:15. So if you can make this, once again, more details on Meetup. Also, we have, 4 p.m. at Maryland 3. They're having a fundraiser at Wayback Burgers, and this is for the Blue Line, and that's at, let me see, in Bel Air, South Parkway Suite 1637 in Bel Air, and that's for their upcoming Blue Line ride event. So if you can make that, check Meetup for more details and be there and have some wings.
May 2nd, we have Delaware 5 is doing an event for Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Service. It's at the Dover Home Depot. This is let me make sure I get this right here. This is the one day each year that they honor the fallen brothers and sisters from all of the police agencies throughout the state. Please honor their memory and show support for their survivors. So that's a great event, and so that will be once again at the Dover Home Depot on Route 13 DuPont Highway. Kickstands up at 10:45. Let's see here. Actually, May 3rd, that's for you, Lullaby.
Alrighty. That is the Maryland 1 Wing Night Social. I'm getting all the Wing Night Socials. I think I should be getting some wings out of this one.
Maybe I'm the one who should be doing the Wing Night.
Crabtown, USA. This is at 1500 Crane Highway. So if you can be there for Maryland 1, enjoy some wings, have a good time, meet some people. That's a good opportunity.
Absolutely. On May the 6th, Maryland 2 annual bike blessing. Basically, the RSVPs are closed the 6th of May, Sunday, at Harvest Community Church. And that's at 2505 Falston Road in Falston, Maryland. They'll be meeting at the Havre de Grace American Legion, Post 47, kickstands up by 8:45, and then ride to the Harvest Community Church. Followed by the service, bike blessings, and lunch will be provided by Church Fellowship. Also, Maryland 5 has a blessing of the bikes as well. This is really, I tell you what, I mean, this is something I think most everybody should be able to do at the beginning of the year. Nothing starts off a good season than having a good bike blessing. So, but yeah, Maryland 5, they're having it. Let's see here, annual blessing of the bikes to be conducted by Maryland 5's very own beloved Reverend Father Martin Pops Berman. So I think most people, at least in the Maryland area, knows Pops.
Yes, we do.
They'll meet at 11 o'clock so that it will give everyone time to get there, and then it'll be done by 1 p.m. Depending on how many bikes are present, each bike and each rider will receive a personal blessing. All chapters and friends of bikes or bikers are certainly welcome to attend this event.
And then coming up Saturday, May 12th, our very own MD8 is having a Blue Line ride, and all are welcome. This is going to be starting at the Iron Horse. Kickstands up at 11 a.m. More details on Meetup, of course. $10 donation, and we're going to be going to the Island Creamery. Everybody loves ice cream. Who doesn't love ice cream, right? Wings and ice cream. I am like the food queen over here, right?
Making me hungry. And Saturday, May the 19th, we have a VA3 Wounded Warrior escort ride to the Delaware Memorial Bridge. They'll escort wounded warriors from Walter Reed Medical Hospital via the Maryland State Police escort to the Delaware Memorial Bridge, where a second group of escorts will take the warriors into New York City for some R&R. They did this event last year, and it was a great event to help the warriors. So that's a long ride. Prepare for it.
Police escorted, so it's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, if you want to go a nice, good distance with police escort, you can't beat that. I mean, that's pretty good. And of course, as well, just remember too, I don't have my note here, but we do have once again the East Coast Thunder that'll be coming up, and then Rolling Thunder as well. And we're going to make sure that we're going to push that through again on the next episode. We should have the next episode out before that time, so we'll come up with some more details. But of course, all of these events are on Meetup, plus many more. If we missed your event, we're sorry. We only could cover so much in time.
But if you want us to specifically cover your event, please just email us, and we'll get it up on the Meetup, or we can do a special plug for it. Just let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. So all these great events, attend if you can. But above, I mean, I tell you what, that East Coast Thunder, make that a priority if you can, because that's going to be a great way to spend time with a lot of your
fun.
Yes, absolutely. And then to be able to do the Rolling Thunder the very next day. So now, I guess to close off the show, I just want to say first off that I know this episode once again ran a little long, but we had so much content, and you know what? That's not really a bad thing.
No, I think it's a great thing, and we love content. Once again, give us an email if you have something you want us to cover, pictures, articles, things you're doing. We want to hear.
we were like at first like, well, maybe we should try and make the show 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but really with all this content, this is not a bad thing. So we're really happy to be able to share this with you. We took a lot of pictures during our event to DC, and Double J was one of our members who took a lot of these photos you're about ready to see, plus Little Joe and Second Chances and that, myself. So please just sit back and enjoy this. If you're able to, if you have a Roku or anything, a Roku or an Amazon Fire, use the YouTube app and watch this on your big screen.
It's worth it.
Yes. We're probably going to create a Mission Report YouTube channel, but in the meantime, you can go to Sevlar01, and that's S like Sam, E, Victor, LAR01, and you will find this episode in there under that channel, and you will be able to see this, pull this up and be able to watch it, or of course link it through Facebook. But just kick back now. This is a solemn moment, and it really, I want you to see the looks on the veterans' faces, but this is, what you're about to see is going to really, I know we all feel a lot of pride with what's on our vest, the group, the foundation that we represent. But when you see this is really going to make it just hit it home about what it's like to be a member of Hogs and Heroes.
It does make it sink into what you are directly representing and the people you are helping directly. And just, once again, Malinsky put a lot of work into this. I was just kind of sideline producing, helping him out, but his is all his baby projects, so please.
And I'm going to close out, too, with one last saying from a late member of ours in Maryland 8, Steele, Joseph Sapp. He would always say something that really meant a lot to all of us, and that is that if the mission's not in your heart, don't wear it on your back. So this is going to show you what the mission's all about. Thank you for watching this episode of Mission Report, and we'll be back with a May edition and covering everything that's happened between now and then. And stay safe, everybody. Keep both wheels out on the road, and God bless everyone. Thank you.
God bless you. Good night.
Thank you, Malinsky.
Thank you. Lullaby.
You packed your bags and shut the door. You crossed the sea to fight a war. You didn't know just what would happen to you. and the dirt, boots on the ground, and gunfire was the only sound. And to yourself you whispered hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Every day and every night, you walk the walk, you fight the fight. You never saw the end in sight, now did ya? The days are washing a haze of red, the blood, the mud, too many dead. Your weary soul was crying hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Too late to help you hear a shot. You know you're in a deadly spot. You never thought the day would come, now did ya? Your brother falls down to the ground. The enemy is all around, and from your lips you scream a hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. You fought the fight till it was done. You have the strength to carry on. You thought it'd be much better back home, did ya? You try each day, keep pushing through, but the battle